Hello and welcome back to Gray's Gardening. I am Gray and I'm back with another one of them YouTube vids. So today I am here to sow my seeds. It's that time of year again. I'm a little later than I usually do it, and I've done it years before in either late February or usually I try and do it the first week of March. So a few days later than I normally do it, but it's perfectly fine. If you want to get sowing your seeds now, you've still got a few weeks to do it, I think. So make sure you do it before the end of the March. But it should be fine. So I've been busy buying my seeds. I used to be someone who wanted to sow everything. I'd go into the shops, I'd buy all these different seeds, sow hundreds of every single one of them. And yeah, that's great. It's helped me learn a lot of things about seeds, but seed sowing and seed growing. But what happens then is you end up with a mass amount of all kinds of different plants growing. There's an awful lot to look after. And you end up with a glut of basically too many. So much more selective these days. I like to grow what I like to grow, and you know, sometimes I try a few different variations of things, but I generally stick to what I like to grow, what I like to harvest, and what I think looks good at the end of the day. So I'll go through what I'm sowing. I'm not going to bore you all to death with exactly every single seed that I'm sowing today, but I want to show you what I'm planning on sowing, growing, and the ways I do it and the reason why I do it that way, just to at least let you know, show you the how I do it. And I do use some little tricks and take some little shortcuts along the way as well, just to make it easier. So let's have a look what I've bought. So I haven't grown these for a few years now. This is the Brussels sprout Evesham Special. So they grow about 60 centimeters tall, and they'll be grown. I'm going to try and grow them ready for Christmas Day. So that's when you normally start harvesting your sprouts. You wait for the first frost, which hardens them off in the winter time, and they should do quite nicely for my Christmas dinner. I've done them for a while, so I'll get them going. I do like to grow my courgettes. You only need about 4 plants really, because you get anything up to 20 to 30 courgettes per plant, especially if you're on top of them and you're snipping them off regularly. This one says it's a popular variety. It's called Black Beauty, producing masses of fruit with very dark green skins, delicious firm white flesh. Pick them young for fresh results. So the thing with courgettes is, if you take your eye off them for a second, they go from a lovely little courgette, say that big, to a few days later a massive marrow. Now I do usually just leave one on to see how big I can grow a marrow, so I'll probably be doing that again this year, but the rest of them will be small, nice little small fruits. Sweet corn, this is called Incredible F1. Now each one grows, I don't know, say a meter high. Really a great vegetable to grow. Is it a vegetable or is it a fruit? I think it's a vegetable. This is a vigorous hybrid variety, good resistance to disease, produces very sweet cobs, perfect for picking and eating fresh from the garden. So they are great. Anyone's ever grown sweet corn before, if you get a couple of cobs per plant, dead easy. They'll be in one of my raised beds. Pick them off, take them home, pop a little bit of butter in either a pan or in the oven or even in the microwave. So tasty. You'll never get them fresher from when you've grown them yourself. The next is 2 varieties. It's my pumpkins, and I grow pumpkins mainly just because I enjoy doing it, but also for the kids for Halloween. So this is Pumpkin Big Macs. I've grown this one before. It's a really vigorous plant. It's a vine that goes all over the ground, and each plant gives you 2, 3, maybe even 4 pumpkins if you're lucky. The less you grow on each plant, or the less pumpkins that you grow on each plant. If you snip the others off, then those ones will go bigger. So this is Big Macs. A large pumpkin, has great colour and holds its shape really well, making it perfect for pumpkin competitions. Also great tasting, but I probably won't be eating them. They'll be grown for making scary faces. Likewise with this one, Pumpkin Jack-o'-lantern. So smaller pumpkin, but really round. So you get a better shape out of this one, I think. It says very attractive, large fruited pumpkin with a rich red-orange skin. The globe-shaped fruits have thick walls which are ideal for carving and autumn decoration. So Pumpkin Jack-o'-lantern and Pumpkin Big Macs. Now, tomatoes, I think everybody who grows tomatoes gets too many tomato plants. So I'm going to be quite strict. I'm going to grow, I've got 4 different varieties. I've got Tomato Sun Baby, which is a yellow, small cherry type tomato. Attractive, thin-skinned and mouth-watering little cherry tomatoes. 50 cherries per truss. Wow, that'll be good. I've got Tomato Moneymaker, grown these many times. It's always a very reliable tomato plant to grow. Nice round, medium-sized tomatoes. Delicious medium-sized fruits that will continue cropping until the first frosts. So we'll get plenty of Moneymakers. I've got Tomato Red Cherry, similar to the yellow one. And this one, again, sweet tasting cherry tomatoes. I think it says what you expect to get there. And then I always try and grow a beef tomato, but you can't really grow beef tomatoes in the UK. So this is close. This is Tomato Marmonde. Quite a large tomato, maybe about that big. And it says, heavy ribbed fruit may need support because they do get that big and heavy. So I've grown them before. They're lovely, delicious tomato, but they're big as well. Nice chopped up bit of olive oil, mozzarella, bit of basil. They're the tomato for that. And then every year I try my melons. I've had success in the past, sometimes better than others, but I've been watching a few videos recently on growing a melon on a frame, or at least a piece of string up from your greenhouse. And it basically, you wind it round, you grow the plant upwards, and all the melons hang off it. So I'm going to be trying that this year for these. So I've got a melon Melba, that's quite an elongated melon. Classic variety producing succulent, sweet melons, very vigorous, capable of producing generous yields. So that's melon Melba. And the melon Arava, or Arava F1, looks a bit like a cantaloupe melon. A sweet aromatic Galia type melon, weighing up to 1.4 kilograms each. Resistance to powdery mildew. So that's a good one. Okay, so that's the vegetables, fruit of vegetables. So I'm also growing some flowers. I've got the Nasturtium Tip Top Mixed. So they are a vigorous vine that climbs up either a structure or into your hedge or all along the floor. Yellow, orange and red flowers, masses and masses of them, and you can actually eat the flowers and put them on a salad. They've got like a bit of a spicy taste to them. I've grown them many times before, and if you get them to grow everywhere, and then in the winter they set a load of seeds and then basically self-seed themselves, and then they come back again next year. So almost like a perennial in the sense of you'll just keep getting these back automatically. And the bees love them. Very rich in nectar apparently. Then we've got the Sunflower Giant Single. It says these grow up to 2 meters in height, huge big flower heads. So it's one for the kids. I'll grow plenty of them. They're very easy to grow, but let's see how big we can get them growing this year. Then I'll be doing some French marigolds, Orange Boy. Now these, I'm actually going to grow them to go in the greenhouse and adopt them amongst the melons and the tomato plants. Now, they're meant to keep away pests and disease. I don't quite know how they do it, but if nothing else, they just look quite pretty in the greenhouse, in your beds. So plenty of them. They're easy to grow. Then slightly different types. I've got a dahlia. I just like that flower. Loads of huge big flowers on a dahlia. I haven't grown dahlias for some time now, so bringing the dahlia back. The tubers, so they just go in some nice compost. I'm going to put them in a pot. See how they get on. We've got the Oriental Lily, nice pink one. Again, I think you call that a tuber or a bulb, but perennial. So it'll keep coming back each year. Do like a good lily. And then we've got a load, I don't know how many bulbs here, but gladioli mixed. Lots of mixed colours, and again, nice perennials. They'll keep coming back year on year. And I'm just going to pop them in a pot. Might need a couple of pots because we've got quite a few bulbs there. And I'll put some into my flower beds as well at the allotment. And then finally, I've got a ginger. It's a ginger plant. I don't know what you call that. It's either a tuber or a, don't know what it says. But I'm not going to grow that to actually harvest any ginger. I'm going to grow it for the plant itself. It's a very nice plant, a ginger plant. So I'm going to grow one of them. So that'll be popping that in a nice big pot full of nice fresh compost also. they'll be going in the greenhouse for a few weeks at least until it warms up. I've also got myself a load of plant labels, because no matter how much you think you'll remember what you've sown, you will forget. So label everything up well. Oh, and then finally, did nearly forget this. This is my chili pot. I got this one for Christmas. It sounds like there's a compost piece in the middle that you fill with water that then expands. There'll be seeds in there. And this is the Chili Demon Red. I haven't grown chilies for a while, so I'll be doing them inside this bucket. Quite nice. So before I get started, just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has subscribed, who's been watching my videos. I'd set myself a target in the last video to get to 70, and at the time of making this video, I've got 73 subscribers. So thank you very much. If you are new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, please do now. I want to do a little trial on this video. So if you're watching on a phone, you're probably watching it landscape. Just turn it that way around for a second, and then click the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't already. Just a little trial there, see if that works. But no, thanks everyone for watching. I'll continue making these videos to document my journey throughout the gardening season, both at home and at the allotment. I did actually make another video last week. I got myself this new phone, this is the Pixel 7. Now, it seems to have recorded everything in this super duper high definition, ultra high definition quality, which means I've now struggled to get it onto the laptop to make the video. So if I can still put it together, I will do, but it's not looking very good at the moment. So I've gone back to my old phone, my Samsung, to do this. So we may get a video out, we may not, but this one should be coming anyway. This is the seed sown one. So let's start sowing the seeds. Okay, so everything's laid out now exactly where I want them to go. I've put each seed packet on top of where I'm going to be planting them. Always best to get prepared. I like to grow things in miniature plug plants rather than, you can sow them, you can fill that full of soil, and I will do for some of them. I think the sweet corn and other things will be straight into that tray once I've filled it up. But I do like to fill each one as a plug plant, because then once you've got this plant established, it's easier to pot on. You don't have to pick out the little seedlings quite as much. As I say, I like to make this so it's less work and easier to do, the better. So to start with, what you need to do is get yourself some seed and cutting compost mix. Now this stuff is quite gritty, quite dry, really free draining, but also doesn't contain much nutrients. And the reason why you use this compost, this compost rather than the really nutritious feeding compost, is so that the plants start searching for that goodness. So they set out a real good root system from the word go, looking for that nutrients, which when you pot on and you give them that, this plant itself is already pretty strong because it's looking for the good stuff. So you start them off in this to begin with. So let's do the melons first. So literally put your seeds to one side, and it is fill up your seed trays. Now these have been reused from last year, maybe even the year before. What you want to do is just don't make them too compact, just fill them all up, so that each one has got plenty of soil inside of this nice seed and cutting compost. Just firming that down slightly, not too much, don't want to overdo it, but just want to make sure each of these modules, if that's what they're called, each one is nice and full. There's plenty going in there. And the little woodlouse. Put him outside in a minute. Ooh, there's a few things in here. A little centipede as well. Don't want you inside here because you're going to be going inside the house in a minute. Okay, so as you see, full, but not too compacted in. What we're going to do first is we're going to go Melon Arava F1. The lucky thing with this pack is it's already got its own label. They're quite handy. So I'm going to be doing how many of these? We're going to do 4 of them and 4 of them. I think that will do us quite nicely there. So let's start off with these ones. Pretty much most seeds are all the same. You get a little packet inside. Rip that open, make sure you've shaken them to the bottom, otherwise they'll fall out everywhere when you open them. And inside you get so many seeds. So you literally just pop each one in. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So you just pop each seed in, poke it down just underneath and cover him back over. We'll be watering him at the end. So you just do that with each one. So simple. Pop the seed in, poke him in, make sure he's got good coverage of all the compost around him. And I'm just going to go around and basically do that for everything on this table. As mentioned before, I don't expect you to watch while I do this, but because they're in each little compartment, it won't take too long. And for those seeds that I don't use this time, I'll be popping them back into the little packet, and I'll tape them up, keep them somewhere cool and dry, and potentially can still use the rest of them next year. If your seeds don't come with one of these handy little labels, make sure you always label them up. So this is the Melon Melba. Use a nice marker pen and then it shouldn't come off. Pop that in, and straight away now I know what I've got in here. Okay then, so that is literally my seed sown for the year. This is all I'm doing. That's taken me about half an hour, and we've got sprouts, marigolds, 2 types of melon, sweet corn, 2 types of pumpkin, courgettes, 4 types of tomato, some sunflowers and some nasturtiums. So last thing to do is you just put over a protective cloche or plastic covering, water them, make sure they don't dry out, put them somewhere frost-free and relatively warm. The warmer it is, probably the faster they'll germinate. I'll be popping them into my conservatory because this time of year when the sun's out it does get rather warm in there, and about 2 to 3 weeks the seedlings will start to show, and we'll be able to move to the next stage. I've actually run out of a cloche, so I need to get 3 more. I think I might have some at the allotment. So as I say, nice and simple. That's my seed sowing now done for this year. Okay, here are the seeds in their final resting place for the next 6 to 8 weeks. I think I have got some more of these plastic covers, so that'll be covering all the rest of them. But as you can see, they're just in my conservatory. There is a radiator behind here, so that gives them a bit of warmth. It's not too warm, but they are frost free. So got my trays there. They've all been watered apart from these. Found myself a funny little watering can. Oh,
Trying not to spill it whilst filming at the same time.
Okay, that's a good job, well done. So thanks everyone for watching. As usual, put that thumbs up, hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care, bye bye.